Barry Trammell with the Oklahoma. And Carmelo, you and Paul and Russell had shot pretty well through 3 quarters, and then didn't make any shots in the 4th quarter. What happened was just lost your touch, the defense changed. What happened in the 4th quarter?
I don't know. I think we missed. I think we all missed. I don't really have an answer to, what happened or excuse of why we didn't make shots. And we just didn't make shots in that 4th quarter. We worked so hard in the 3rd quarter to get the lead back, and to go up like 7-8 or something like that in that 3rd quarter. 4th quarter, we just didn't shoot the ball.
Kenny and Royce.
Hey, Paul, you guys started out with 8 turnovers in the 1st quarter, and ultimately you got that curtailed, but just the way that affected the early going and it just delays getting into a rhythm, into a flow. Do you guys have to correct that moving forward?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, we that wasn't the game. Game 1, we came out a little slow and, found our rhythm. But obviously against a team that we're, we don't want to give up opportunities or allow them to get easy baskets. We got to be better in that category.
Paul, you got treatment the last couple of days on your hip. How'd you feel physically tonight?
It was, huge.
All right, so there's Paul George and Melo talking about a loss in Game 2 and just saying they missed shots. Griff, is it that simple? Same game plan, just make more shots? I mean, if you're sitting there and you're looking at OKC and you're Billy Donovan, I mean, what's the plan now on how to fix this going into Game 3?
Well, I think as has been the case for an awful lot of the season, they were fine for a big stretch of this game. They were running good offense. They were getting good looks. They were sharing the ball in a way that made sense. I think they've struggled, and I think both Tony and Ryan have mentioned this. They struggle when it's time for one person to take over the game, knowing who that person should be at any given time. And I really believe, I've said this pretty much all year, their big 3 really involves Paul George, Russ, and Steven Adams.
Yep.
Because Steven makes everything else that they do possible. Again, just can't give enough credit to the game plan that Quinn Snyder and his coaches had for trying to take Adams out of the game. And OKC is going to be very deliberate, I would think, about making sure Steven understands you need to stay available for us and putting him in consistent positions to at least not pick up offensive fouls.
Ryan, you take me to the other side because the bigs on the inside. You talked about your conversation with Derek Favors. He was a factor. Gobert was a factor. What did Utah and their bigs specifically learn here in Game 2 they could take to Game 3?
Well, I'll say the one thing in my playoff experience, it's about matchups, and even more importantly, identifying matchups. And when you have Melo, Russ, and we'll call them playoff P for now on the floor, you've got to attack those matchups. And as a big guy, the reason that we are few and hard to find in the league now is because of small ball. If you're going to go small, you've got to commit to ball movement, 3-point shots, and running the floor in transition. Otherwise, you might as well play 2 traditional bigs like Utah did, and Utah just figured it out and beat the Thunder up on the glass tonight. So if you're going to go big for the Thunder, you got to go big or you got to share the ball because your star's not getting points when you have matchups all over the floor. It's inexcusable.
You're not just an all-team defender, but you're a team defender.
Yeah, true that.
Now take me through.
First team.
You're an OKC. You're looking at the video. I mean, I understand these are 3 great players, but how much does the conversation need to be, look, we can't let Donovan Mitchell beat us in Game 3?
Most importantly, you got to look at who's the weakest link on the team, and who would you want to beat us? Obviously, Ricky Rubio, he shot bad last game, kind of picked it up this game. And I'll just stick with the game plan, make the others beat you. If Rubio's out there on the floor with the first group, you send the double early and make those guys sub early.
All right, let's take a look at where we go in Game 3, the schedule for the rest of the series between the Jazz and the Thunder, coming up ESPN on Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and then on Monday for Game 4. Right now, the Rockets game is going on against Minnesota. You should get out there to TNT right now. Go watch the finish. We will see you when it's finished. We'll have pressers, analysis for both, and highlights on Game Time from around the NBA right here.